Hi, everyone. Welcome to our last video in the video series that we've been putting on for the last month and a half titled Here For You Now. Today is our last video. I will announce a little bit more about what's to come after we have our video here. Today we are introducing Jordan Bailey, who's an SSA from Mahoning County, and he's going to be speaking to Judy Sutton about pet care and grooming. All right, Jordan, take it away.
Thank you, Guy. Good morning, coming afternoon, everyone. So with me is a special guest who does grooming. She is also my mother-in-law, which is Judy Sutton. We're also going to show you a special treat. She is going to groom one of her own dogs on video, so we can watch that as well. So what we're going to do is kind of go over why is it important to groom, why is it important to have pet care, the tools that we use for grooming, and any other questions I can think of while I'm filming her, I will ask. So now I'm going to flip the screen, if I can figure this out. Okay. All right. So now what you see in front of me is her dog, Tula, which is a Pomeranian Papillon mixed breed. That's the dog that she will show her grooming. And now this is Judy Sutton, my mother-in-law. So Judy, tell us, why is it important for pet care?
Well, it's important because dog really can't tell you if there's something wrong if you're not looking. If I see my dog scratching or if they really start digging, then there's a problem because they normally don't do that. A lot of times it could be just what they call like a change of seasons. It could be an allergy. A lot of dogs are scratching. I have another one that scratches terribly, and I think it's the deficient food. So I'm in the process of switching her to no grain food. That seems to be a big thing now. But I mean, you have to look. Dogs develop hot spots, and it's just like you getting a cut or something. You got to take care of that because they can get sick too. Just because their dog doesn't mean that, they're not going to get sick from it. Another thing is I always check their ears. Some dogs I have had lots of drainage and stuff in there, and people don't understand how to clean the ears out very well. So what I do is, and this is an old home recipe, is I have organic apple cider vinegar and water. 50-50 of that, clean that. And what that is, it's an astringent. It will kill any bacteria that's in the ear. You don't pour it in there. I merely just get a couple Q-tips or even cotton balls, because I don't go down into the ear canal. I go just on the outside what I can see. And what I do is I fold the ear back. Her ears are really very good. And just get in here.
So it sounds like you've gone over with us some of the important reasons why we have to groom our animals. What are some of the grooming strategies, some of the grooming process that has to be groomed on animals? So I just saw the ear.
Right. Okay, then what I'm going to do before I give a bath, you've got to brush them out. If you try to wet a dog that has a little tangle or, excess hair, it's going to knot up and you're going to have one heck of a mess. So what I do is I will brush them out. Usually I will start with a pin brush and just go all over them. And you could see even with her, I like this brush because it cleans itself. But I mean, that's just this little bit of hair. That's the Papillon in her. Because most of the time, the Pomeranians don't shed as much.
While we're here, why don't we go over some of our grooming tools?
Okay.
Let me show them.
First one that I use, this is one that I absolutely would tell you have to have if you have a long-haired dog. It will take out all that dead hair. It will take out knots, and really you're not hurting the dog at all. But this cuts down my time tenfold, I swear. I just love these. You can see just that couple times how much hair came out of the dog. So between using that and then follow up with a pin brush, this will get all those little hairs that's just still laying on the top surface. So that's usually what I do first. You can't give them a bath until
Jordan,
you
what's the name of that tool?
It is.
I'm not even really sure what it is called, but it's a new one out. What it does is it strips out knots and strips out real loose, thick hair. They have different kinds, but this thing here is wonderful. And I wish, let me see if it's on here. This is called a Top Performance, but I don't see what the actual name is. But it's not sharp. You're not going to cut the dog, but this thing here is really good. I kind of found it by accident and start using it, and I wouldn't be without it now. I'm sorry, I don't know what the name of it is. I could probably find it.
Okay.
Next, after I brush them out, we're going to work on the feet. And what I like to do is we're going to go just around all this hairy feet. I don't like hairy feet because hairy feet bring in lots of mud. And this dog's noted for getting in the mud. But I'll go underneath and get in between the pads. That way there's less hair that, and less mud that they're bringing in. And I'm not really going to go down in between the toes themselves. Now this part I do.
As you can see, my mother-in-law was saving Tula for this video.
Yeah. Tula usually does not look like this, but I left her go purposely. Okay. Now, after doing that, then we're going to trim the nails. I love dogs with white nails because you can actually see the pink of where the vein is. I don't know if you'd be able to see.
I don't know if they can see that.
But you could actually see. Dark nails are a little bit harder to do. You just have to go by how the nail is growing.
And Judy, what is this nail clipper called? Is it a specific name?
No,
Just
a
a specifically for animals.
Oh yeah, for dogs. You could do the cats.
Cats
too.
with that.
Usually cats, they have a smaller one for them, but you could see the red vein in her toenail. So I'm going to go just that side of it. They feel pressure. They don't feel pain with that unless you get too close, and then it's going to start bleeding if you get too close to that vein. And then a lot of groomers don't do this, but I also will foul the nail just a little bit, because I don't know about you, but if you have a dog and ever had their nails cut and they weren't rounded off, they cut you with them because they're sharp points. So I make a point with all my dogs, whether they're mine or someone else's, always. Tula likes getting her nails done.
Yeah, she's getting pampered. This dog likes to be pampered.
But you can see the difference, in these nails. The one on the left is going to cut you. If she jumps up on you or paws you, this one here, there is no sharp edges at all. And that's what you want. You just got to be careful. I love white nails because I can see right where the vein goes. Dark nails a little harder. You have to go by the shape of the nail. Right where it starts to curve is usually where the vein is. So you have to be careful. Sometimes with the bigger dogs, I have to do, clip a little bit here, a little bit here, and kind of weird because they're so thick. I've had dogs that the nail's so thick, I cannot use this. I don't have enough strength in my hand. So we do just a little bit at a time. As far as that, now before I give a bath, I'm going to check her hair. you know, I do this on everybody. We're going to look and see if I see any problem areas, if I see any fleas. Because you'd be surprised the people who don't put flea medicine on their dogs. I found ticks, I found fleas, but her obvious is none. But if you see little black specks or something that looks like coffee grains in their hair, that's flea dirt. So you want to make sure that you bath with flea shampoo. And also it'll take care of the ticks as well. I have a container of a mass of ticks that I have found on different dogs. And people will tell me, oh yeah, I saw that, but I didn't know what it was. Well, that's why I keep them. I want them to see. If you want to see, I could show you.
Does anybody want to see a tick on a dog?
No, Tula, I'm not going to put it on you.
Well, I guess we're going to show them anyways.
But see, there's a couple different kinds in there. But this way I can show people, this is what you're looking for when you're looking for ticks. Especially you live out here with us, there's a lot of woods, there's tall grass. That's where they're going to be picking up the ticks.
Okay.
Now, as far as the bath.
You don't, we don't have to bath her. We can,
no, I'll put her in there though. Let's make her think she's getting the bath. Okay, here.
Oh.
There's not a lot of room here. This thing here has been a lifesaver. I used to just use a big tub down here. My husband felt sorry for me and let me get this, and this is wonderful. But that's all I do. I have my water here. Now what I'm going to do is check the skin and see, am I seeing any skin problems? I have a lot of dogs that have that itch. And it could be an allergy. It could be because of the food. A lot of dogs can't tolerate grains and stuff. So I'm going to use an anti-itch shampoo. If I see them digging to where they're raw, I have medicated shampoo that I can use. With her, I use a whitening shampoo because she has no skin problems. So when I get done with her, she is as white as she's going to get. I have flea shampoo all the time. I've tried different kinds until I found the one that really works. And, you know, I'll use that.
So I'm trying to show you, this is not just a regular old bathtub that we take a bath in. This is more of a, this is an animal bathtub.
It has a
Yep.
ramp too for big dogs.
Yep, there is a ramp that big dogs can walk up to get into it.
But this has been a lifesaver.
Okay. So after the dog gets bathed, then what do you do?
Okay. Then I usually towel them off a little bit. Oh, she's raring to get out of here. Okay. Then they come back up here and I towel dry as much as I can. And then I have a big dryer here. Sometimes on the little dogs, I'll use just warm air because this big dryer is pretty strong and it scares them. So I will use this.
This is the animal dryer, hair dryer.
Let me plug it in.
Yeah, let's plug it in and give her a hair blow.
Yeah, she'll love this.
You ready for this, Tula?
Yeah. But this thing is very strong and it dries them very quickly. And it just comes out warm air. Cold. Just set at 1 temperature. See how well it blows compared to a blow dryer. If I didn't even get a bath and you're drying, you just have to wash her face. Never use it on her face. That's when I still get the blow dryer out and I will dry.
So
Yeah.
you have two sets of blow dryers for
Yes.
for different size animals, dogs.
Right. I have just a regular person blow dryer. This works good too. But that'll dry in about a third of the time is what this does. But on their faces, I'll use this. You know, little tiny dogs, I might use this. But most of the time, it's the beast over there that I use. Now, I do have clippers. I do shave dogs. This one, I don't, but I could do her legs.
And are these just basic hair clippers, or these
No,
these are actual dog clippers?
These are actual dog clippers. As you can see, it has a dog on it. There's all different kinds and sizes of blades here. What I'm going to do is put a short one on. This is what I would use on their feet. If somebody wants their dog completely shaved down, this is what I use. But this is good when it's snowing, you know, or it's real muddy, just to clean up all the hair that's, you know, in the way. I do full shaves on dogs.
Do you shave pictures in dog hairs? In the hair, would you shave a picture of a Superman or something? No, you wouldn't shave pictures in their fur.
No.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't do that to my Tula. Now, also, I always do around the back end for obvious reasons. Otherwise, they bring in things you don't want them to bring in. They're supposed to leave outside. And just enough to where nothing's going to stick. She's an easy one to do because, like I said, I leave her hair.
So when you have dogs that are more misbehaving, what do you do?
Well, it's a little bit tougher. I do keep this short one here, especially some of my big dogs. They get a little nervous on the table. I will just leave their regular collar on and put them on a short leash. Yeah. And if I step away from this, usually I have my hand on this dog because I don't want them to try to jump off. You know, I do have muzzles. I have a variety of sizes. I try not to use them. Most of the dogs that I do, they're afraid. And once you get over them being afraid, they're perfectly fine. I started off with a muzzle, and before I'm done, they're fine with taking it off. I do have a couple that, oh no, you don't take a muzzle off because you're going to lose an arm or something. And a lot of people won't do those kind of dogs. If I'm able to, I'll do them. You know, most of the time they're scared, but you get some of these bigger dogs, and I can't say it's only big dogs. I have a little Chihuahua that if he could take your nose off, he would. So I kind of, yeah, that's why I got this little tiny muzzle, because no matter what I do for him, and I talk constantly to him, he don't care. He's going to get you if he can. That's just the way they are.
But Tula's a good girl during her pampering and grooming.
Tula loves the attention. Yeah, she loves people. But I would say most of them I do, and I do anywhere. I have, you know, Labradoodles. I do a few pit bulls, and don't believe that the pit bulls are bad. I have a Chihuahua that's worse than the pit bulls I do. So it's just the dog. Pit bulls have a bad reputation, but most of them are not bad at all.
On average, I mean, I know different dogs and different sizes are going to take. So on average, what does a small dog take as time for grooming, and then a bigger dog?
Most generally, if I was to do her from start to finish with the bath and everything, 2 hours. Only because it takes longer to dry their hair. If I didn't bath her and just comb her out, I could get her done in an hour. A big dog, let's say long hair, like a
German Shepherd,
Golden Retriever, they can take me, it depends. People bring them here because they haven't brushed them or anything. So sometimes it takes me an hour and a half just to brush them out. And then I have to go bath them and dry them and rebrush them out again. It might take 4 hours. Most generally, I think the longest ones take me about 4 hours. And that's working only on them. If I have 2 dogs in a family, I'll do one, give a bath. I can stick them in my cages here to dry. while I'm working on the other one, but still, they're going to take time. Big dog, especially long hair, it's going to take about 4 hours. And I might take longer than someone else, but I don't hurry. Dogs get nervous when they're up here, where she doesn't, but they get nervous. They're just like people, you know, unknown situations. So you got to constantly talk to them. I carry on full conversations with my dogs. And no, they haven't talked back yet, but she understands, don't you, too? Yeah, she's a good girl.
All right. Well, thank you, Judy. I will open this up to any questions that anybody might have for grooming.
Why is it important to dry them?
Important to dry them.
You know, summertime, if it is nice and warm and stuff, you could bath your dog and they can air dry. But when it starts getting like this, if you're cold, if you're wet outside, they're going to be too. And with all this hair, it's going to stay damp for a long time. Well, then you might set yourself up to be getting some sores. You know, it could just stay damp, and it's just like you keeping something on that's wet. You know what happens to your skin? You know, it gets all white and wrinkly. Well, it does on these guys too. So that's why, yeah, I prefer to dry them. And I don't use cold water. I used to, and then I thought, you know, this is kind of cruel. I don't care how hot it is outside. To go use the hose, that's cold. And I wouldn't want to do that on mine. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being, you know, a wimp. But that's why I got the tub and we use warm water. Yeah.
Okay.
Any
other questions? Oh.
Judy, what I guess interested you in grooming at first? Was it just because you had some dogs, or did you do it when you were younger and you had kids, you know, dogs growing up?
Oh, I've had dogs since I was born, I think. But what really got me started is I had an English setter that I started showing. And I had a friend who was a dog groomer. And I would take this dog to her. And she told me, she says, you know what, there's not a reason why you can't do this. I used to show horses. So I clipped horses. She said, you could clip a horse, you can clip a dog. So she taught me. And it was touch and go at first. I'm not going to say that they were show ring quality clips, but it's been 20 some years and I think I do pretty well now. And I just love being around the dogs. I would go like to the pounds and stuff and, you know, groom the dogs, but I'd want to bring them all home. That's my trouble.
Yep. Good question, Guy. Any other questions out there? Anybody want to see Tula again? Well, there's Tula.
She's being a good girl. Yes, she is.
I do have a question real quick. If you have a golden retriever, how often should you be bringing them in to get them groomed? I know that we just started recently taking mine in to be groomed, and I was just wondering if there's like a certain time frame you should follow for certain dogs to come in to get groomed.
You know, every dog's going to be a little bit different. I do some golden retrievers, and one of them has such thick hair and another one doesn't. So what you want to do is if you start seeing, you know, if you can go at a dog and pull up and get like lots of hair, it's time they were groomed. If you just put a brush through them yourself once a week, and then maybe every 6 to 8 weeks, take them in to get groomed. If your dog likes to be outside, likes to dig holes and stuff like that, you're going to have to bath them more often. But keep in mind, you bath them too often, you're going to dry their skin out. Now that starts a whole new ball game of, you know, problems. So these guys, especially Tula here, she's lucky to get, you know, bathed a couple times a year. Yeah, because she doesn't, I brush them constantly. So that kind of knocks the dirt out too. But she's not one to dig or anything like that. I've had dogs that dig and, oh yeah, you've got to at least wash their legs off and their face. And But total grooms, 6 to 8 weeks, I think.
So it almost sounds
Thank
like
you.
3 to 5 times a year dogs should be groomed.
Depending on what you're having done. But just the bath and stuff, when she starts smelling stinky, then she gets a bath. But I don't do it just because, oh, it's been 6 weeks, she needs it. No, she don't need it, she don't get it. And she's got really good skin. She never itches. Sometimes you can overgroom a dog. You know, you dry their skin out, especially your whitening shampoos. They can really dry the skin out if you use it too often.
Thank you, Shane. Good question. Any other questions out there in this Zoom world with everybody? All right. If there are no further questions, we'll show Tula again. And we can, does anybody want to see any more of the equipment, the tools that are used for grooming before I turn this back over to Guy? Sounds like not. So Guy, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, Guy, then I'm going to turn it back over to you. Judy, thank you so much for showing us how to groom and care for our animals, our dogs, our loved ones. Just like humans, they need that care.
That's great. Thanks, Judy and Jordan. It was a lot of information. I think we learned a lot about, pet care and grooming. This is our last video, so I just want to take a minute to thank all of you for participating in the Here For You Now video series that the Community Service Department has put on for the last month and a half or so. We really enjoyed interacting with all of you on a regular basis. We hope that you all had as much fun as we did interacting virtually in these very different times. We would like to take a moment to say thanks to all the people from the Community Services Department that participated in these videos, including their families. I know there were a lot of families that a lot of SSAs and other people in the department that had their families on, and I think that was a lot of fun. Hopefully you all enjoyed the information that we were able to present. We would like to invite you to a new video series starting on Monday, October 12th, same time, so 11:30. The video series is going to be called In Our Community and More, and it's going to highlight businesses and activities in Mahoning and the surrounding counties. The video series will be held on Mondays for the next 10 weeks, starting, like I said, on Monday, October 12th. In addition to that, we would also like to invite you to view a new video series with SSA supervisors Linda Riegelman and Tracy Fatuch. They're going to be doing a video series on Tuesdays, starting next Tuesday, 10/13 at 11:30 in the morning, and it will continue for 10 Tuesdays as well. The focus of their video series is going to be on cooking, crafts, and mindfulness. So I guess this is the end of our Here For You Now video series. I hope you guys all had a lot of fun viewing the series and interacting with each other via the Zoom meetings. And hopefully we will all see you starting Monday, October 12th for the In Our Community and More series.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.